Alright, what's up, gang? So, today I'm going to look at two matches from the FTC South Carolina district, which is a pretty small district in the US for the first tech challenge, but I think it has some pretty interesting concepts in it that you can see that sort of carry on to more competitive gameplay and can, help you understand why certain things inside of robotics are pretty important. So, let's just, jump right in. We have a few teams here, right? We have two really popular teams in South Carolina that are pretty well known for doing well. We have Team 11444 Garnet Squadron over here. And then on the Blue Alliance, we have Team 772, the Golden Dragons, right? And these are two pretty well known teams. They're both pretty good. Garnet Squadron has a reputation for pretty much just completely no competition dominating the scrimmages at the start of the season. I think they've dominated the past five scrimmages up until this one. So it's pretty interesting. Along with that, we have on the Red Alliance Team 14914 Phoenix Forge and Team 25068 Raptoria as the Alliance picks, right? So it's going to be a pretty interesting match. So when we start off, as you can see, we have Autonomous, and this is pretty important because these Autonomous are not too consistent, right? At least on the Blue Alliance, right? We have missing specimens, and that's pretty important because on the Red Alliance, Garnet Squadron does a very good job at um, getting those samples scored in the bucket, even though they're a little bit slower, because that just causes them to go ahead compared to the Blue Alliance, which missed those specimens. So that really just puts them ahead, and it shows how important that is. But as soon as that ends, you see everybody sort of knows what they have to do, right? The Phoenix Forge gets ready to score that first sample, while Garnet Squadron is also scoring that sample from the submersible, while 772 is starting to score their samples, and Raptoria is doing their thing with the specimen, right? So as you can see, Raptoria and Phoenix Forge are having some problems, but the other two are cycling pretty well. So this is causing the Blue Alliance to sort of have to catch up. So they know that they're behind, right? But they have to, really speedily intake these samples so they can score in the high bucket and, catch back up. But they're not doing a great job. I mean, they're starting to creep up because Garnet Squadron is experiencing a bit of a failure here with their pickup system and their macros. And that just suffers a little bit on their consistency. But they're still ahead, and they know that they have that comfortable auto. But 772 is also just really trying to make that up, so they're really going quick, and that's benefiting them. You see, right? They're 77 to 80, and right here is where they cross 85 to 80. They know what they have to do, and they're doing it pretty well because of things like driver practice, right? But Garnet Squadron knows that it's not over yet, right? They're still the Red Alliance is still doing what they have to do, right? But here's what gets the match, right? On Red Alliance, Phoenix Forge's their intake breaks, right? That's a complete total failure with 7 seconds left. That means that they lose the ability to score samples, which is detrimental to the Red Alliance when you're on such a close game, right? Because that means now 772 and 25068 are both playing against simply Garnet Squadron. So that's very important because now with that close of a match, they're able to sort of make up that those points that they were already really close to, and get those final points in before the game's over. So Garnet is really trying to hold him off, but at the end of the day, they just can't do it because these are pretty good robots considering the fact that they're in finals. So here we see Garnet Squadron going for one more with 9 seconds left. 772 is also scoring their last one, which is pretty impressive considering the fact there's only 7 seconds left. So you see, they know what they're doing, right, with this hang. There's definitely a lot of driver practice going on here because they were able to pull that off with 5 seconds left in the match, which is pretty good. We have Garnet parked over here in their observation zone, and what seems to be a level 1 hang, and another level 2 hang, and another level 1 hang. So that looks pretty good for Blue Alliance. At this point, you sort of look up and you see that they have a bit of a failure there, and that Garnet is parked but hasn't scored as much as they have to. So that looking at that match, you can sort of take your assumptions, but you'll have to see what the refs have to say. So with that, the game ends up going to the Blue Alliance, right? So very well done from them on this match. They were able to sort of make up for that inconsistency that they had in their auto and make it up. But the Red Alliance also played a very good fight and could have easily won this if a few things had gone their way. So that is match number 6, playoff match number 6. So that would be the first finals match. So now we're looking at a playoff match number 7, right? This is the final match, right? If Alliance 2 wins this, Red Alliance wins, then they win the whole tournament. But also if Blue Alliance wins this, they win the whole tournament. So the stakes are pretty high here. But at the end of the day, all these teams are going to go to their regional championship. So let's go ahead and see what ends up happening here, right? So they're still the same, right? And, whenever auto begins, which would be right now, or maybe, who knows? Yeah, there we go. You see, they're running the same autos, but what 772 is trying to do here is they're trying to get that consistency back, right? But problem strikes, right? You see, this just it doesn't go out enough, right? The arm will go out, but it seems like something failed there mechanically. It looks like the linear slides mechanism, while Garnet's is still working. So once again, we have a failed auto here from 772, and that's really important because that consistency, it really matters here in this final match, where if you don't get that in, you know that you're going to have to face another uphill battle against the opposing alliance. So it's 24-10 as of now, with Blue Alliance scoring 3 samples, or Red Alliance 3 samples, Blue Alliance 1 specimen. So they know that they're going to have to face an uphill battle. But, as soon as this happens, you see the switch off between 772 and 25068. They know what they have to do at this point, right? But the problem, they have 772 just has that issue here with their intake, right? That just causes them to know that they're just going to have to really try a lot harder to reach, because it harms how far into the submersible they can reach. Here we have 1444 and Phoenix Forge. They both swap a bit more slowly, but they sort of know what they have to do as well, right? So as we're going in, it's a bit slow on both sides right now, but they're really going for it, right? 772 just can't get that efficiency that they had in the past matches because of the fact that they had that failure. And it sucks, in those last matches, I know how it is, but they have to work with what they have. Ooh.
Booga booga.
Okay. So at this point, I don't know what happened there. But at this point, Garnet knows that they have an edge, and they can sort of, as long as nothing goes horribly wrong for them, they know that they can sort of just keep doing what they're doing and take that match, right? But, the Blue Alliance also knows that they can still try, because they had that upset of the last match where Garnet was the predicted winners, but they weren't able to get it. But still, Garnet, they learn from their mistakes, and they're not having issues with their robots these times. So they're able to sort of keep that lead that they gained in Autonomous. That is extremely useful, right? And you see that 772 they're trying, but it's not enough, Meanwhile, these guys, they know what they're doing. Their auto works. It's consistent. Their teleop is consistent. While it is slower, it's working, right? And that's what's causing them to keep their lead, no matter how hard the other teams try. And while Phoenix Forge, they're going in this observation zone, they know that as long as they stay out of the way of their partner, everything will go well, which is a bit of an advantage to this side, because they're both just doing their own thing, right? They don't have to worry about getting in the way of each other. But that causes Garnet Squadron to slow down a little bit, the Red Alliance, but they know that as long as they stay out of each other's way and have good communication, they can win that game. Now you see they're having a bit of a problem here with slowness, and 772 is doing a pretty good job considering the fact that they don't have a good extension, but they're just not able to make that final leap. So they just go for that early hang to try and make sure that they can both get to that level 2, which they do succeed, and try and take back that match. But there's only so much you can do at this point once it fails. And Garnet Squadron goes for that park, as they usually do, which causes it to go 168 to 145 without the hangs. So after the refs go and they inspect the hangs, they see that they have level 2s for both of these robots, and I believe that is a level 1 maybe? Who knows? We're about to find out. And that is a level 2 for that robot as well. So at that point, you sort of know that your team is done for, right? If it's 168 to 145, and these guys have a park, Garnet has a park, and Phoenix Forge has a level 2 hang, then you know that you're kind of done for at that point. And lo and behold, when they put in the numbers over here, Red Alliance takes that victory. And once again, Garnet Squadron, for I think the 6th year in a row now, is able to take the win at the qualification match. But it is a lot closer this year than it is in most years. So yeah, very interesting matches coming out of South Carolina. You often don't see such competitive gameplay in South Carolina, which makes me very excited to see what ends up coming over these next few months.